On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, do sanitize your torture room.
And don't eat people. Let's do this. Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz.
And we're going to talk about Season 13, Episode 11, Breakdown.
Breakdown. And according to the Supernatural Wiki, this may be a reference to the 1997 film of the same name starring Kurt Russell about a husband whose wife is abducted by truckers.
Oh, okay.
Don't really know. I'm like, I have to go back and watch that of the Kurt Russell oeuvre. Of the world where when he's an action hero. So to go back and watch that one.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember that one, but okay.
Yeah.
There you go. What have you been up to, Les?
Just dodging snakes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I walked in my garage yesterday or the day before. I don't know. Time is irrelevant. And there was a slithering thing and I screamed really loud and freaked out everybody inside. And then I was just like, sorry, there is a snake. And at least it wasn't a bad one. But I didn't ask its name.
No. Is it gone?
So
we assume so.
I assume so. I've been in and out of the garage a few times and nothing has slithered by me.
So he's gone.
He was super fast and not a very big snake.
I guess that's good.
I'm pretty sure he was harmless. Yeah. Hopefully not eating anything that I particularly enjoy.
That's good.
Any of my birds or their eggs, etc.
Yeah.
I do there's the bird's nest and birds move in and out of this one particular part of my porch. It's kind of like an apartment and they rent it, one bird will come, a couple of birds will come use it and then other ones will come and they'll check it out. And I don't know if I want to stay here. And then someone will move in for a little bit. I am afraid some snake's going to figure that out and just go climb up to the apartment.
Yeah, I would say it's the bird apartment.
Yeah.
You got a bird hostel.
Snakes can climb things.
They can. I don't want to think about it.
I don't want to think about it. That bothers me.
I like to pretend like they can't climb.
Like trees. Even though there's tree snakes. Mm-mm. And they fall out of trees.
No, they don't. That doesn't happen. I say
okay, I've never seen that happen.
I know it happens. I just don't like to think about it.
Oh, my favorite things. Yeah, I won't manifest any more snakes for that. But
no.
So, nearly nothing is. I was supposed to go do some fun botany planting stuff this weekend, and the class got canceled because I was the only person who signed up for it.
Aww.
And I don't know if it was because they're we don't know if it's because it's tax-free weekend or if it's just too hot because it's back to school stuff. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Do you not want to attach moss to wood and put plants on things? It seemed exciting to me, but apparently I was the only, and I signed up for it really fast thinking this will sell out. That last one almost sold out and I was the only person who signed up.
Mm. And
a nerd, I signed up probably within the first hour of them offering it probably too.
Well, that's reasonable.
Such a plant fangirl.
So thirsty for plants.
But my terrarium that I made there last time, so I got this, I told you I got the sensitive plant. So the sensitive plant reacts to touch. And the plant has now grown out of a terrarium. So I don't want to put the top back on and smush the sensitive plant. And they said you can cut the tops of your plant off, but it's sensitive and I don't want to do that to it. So I don't know if it just is no longer going to be a terrarium and I'm just going to let it kind of grow the way it wants to grow.
I mean, it is sensitive.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt its feelings. For Arthur. That's why I named the plants Arthur. So, yeah, that's what I'm up to. I'm naming my plants. That's how exciting my life is going. Technically, my mother named the plant. I'm taking the name Arthur. So,
I think it's a good plant name.
It's a good plant name. And what about you? Anything more exciting than naming your plants?
Yeah, I've gotten to, I got to go see, our friend, Stephanie, has, reestablished and is reopening her rum reopening a location. They've continued the rum, but Island Getaway Rum, is now in Dallas, which is fun. And, not just like, I don't know, I went and had wine at a really cute wine bar that serves shambongs, and I'm very amused by this, but, no, I've been busy, been like social, but like usually just chilling and having a meal and catching up with people. So not like notables. I don't know. Not that my friends aren't notable. It's just, just hanging out and doing the things. And now I'm tired all the time.
Yeah. Welcome to your 40s.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I'm halfway there. It's halfway through them. So, I mean, let's go. But yeah, so that's about it here. Nothing else too crazy.
Cool. Yeah. So there is really also nothing going on in SPN world. Things are continuing to go. And that's all we'll say. And so we're going to talk about breakdown. I don't know why I keep thinking that. There's also like a dozen like psychobilly songs about breakdowns because guys want to like slap their upright basses to have a breakdown.
I went hardcore. I'm like, breakdown, boom, 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 boom. Like have a hardcore show. Like I want to see somebody picking up change and doing some spin kicks. But
okay, that's possible. That's also, so many things, the many ways you can have breakdowns. But for this show, this was season 13, episode 11, and it first aired January 25th, 2018. It was directed by Amin Kaderali, and we last saw him direct season 12, episode 16, Ladies Drink Free, and was written by Davey Perez, he did all the ones with the fun punk rock names. He did American Nightmare, Stuck in the Middle with You, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell, and then Tombstone. So we start off with our recap, and it's Donna, and then Doug, and vampires, and Dean turning into a vampire. Then there's a vampire cure. Then Donna decapitating and hugging as, you want to say what song is playing? As the Chantels look into my eyes is playing.
That one. No, I got that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's where we start. Yeah. And that's lots of decapitating and hugging. Sorry. I realized that was what's happening in the next scene and not during here. So yes, there's decapitating and hugging. And then we start our episode
with Look Into My Eyes by the Chantels. Yeah. In a really gross lab, I guess. It looks like
dirty. Everything is disgusting. You need a laundromat. You need some Clorox. And I'm not a fan of Clorox. I want some natural cleaners. But for sometimes I'm like, no, you need to bleach this place. This place needs to be burnt and set on fire. But yeah, it's gross.
Yeah. And so we see it's actually like kind of a cool little, I think it's the cool scene. They actually repeat this later. You see the knob on the stereo and a gloved hand reaches over and has blood on it, leaves a bloody fingerprint on it, turn the music up. And then we see that shot later of the old stereo with the bloody fingerprint on it, on the knob. I think it was a really cool, shot choice.
It is, but that's disgusting. Why are you leaving bloody fingerprints on knobs? That's gross. Wash your fucking hands, man. Like, it's unsanitary. It just is. All these tools are really scary, and not just because they look old and stuff. They look like they're going to give you all tetanus. Every single one of them is giving you fucking tetanus. There's also a plethora of missing posters, and there's a chair, and then screams and body parts.
And a guy's arm.
Yeah.
Laying there. Yeah, and the screams. And we cut from the screams to, we see a semi in Oshkosh, Nebraska. You do it better than I do. I can't. I'd have to work on that one. And we are at a Manny's Truck Stop and Cafe. And we see a sedan pull in, and this has a lot of bumper stickers on it with a lot of opinions. And then
she has opinions.
It's bumper stickers with opinions. Yeah. I feel like that's very distinct. And then a young chick jumps out. She's trying to get gas. Of course, the card reader doesn't work. It's night, and this is sketch. Of course that's what happens. And she has to fucking go inside because of course she does.
Of course she does. And there's nothing worse when you just want to get your gas and go. And it's just like, and then you have to go inside and you know you're going to have to talk to some pervy fucking cashier. And there she is. She has to get on the cashier. And the cashier's like, can I see your ID? And as she gives him her card, he makes fun of her name.
Yeah, it's a weird flex there. But I want to point out two things that happen here too. As she's walking in, we hear a man who we find out later is a street preacher quoting Psalms while he's eating a steak to another person at his table. There's other truckers. They all just stop and watch her when he comes in. But our cashier, before he's pervy, I'm amused because he is reading the Daily Searcher and the front cover of it is talking about how aliens are watching and alien autopsies. And the back cover is the Canine Fairy Ballet. And it's a picture of a bulldog with wings.
That's pretty amazing.
Yes, I was very amused. Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy's a dick about her paying and is super creepy. Like, yeah, I get show your ID to go with your credit card, but then like, and he's like telling her to smile. And it's just,
he tells her if she smiles that she can get whatever she wants. And she should just punch him in the dick is that point. And everybody watches her as she leaves. Mm-hmm. And as she puts the gas in her car, a scary guy comes offering to wash her windows.
Yeah. I'm like, don't approach someone in a parking lot at night with no light and offer to wash their windows, please. That's rude. And she's like, nope. And she drives away quickly. And then she gets a flat not far away. And she tries to flag down a truck because a semi drives past, but they don't stop. And she's pissed, but whatever. She notices this big spiky thing in her tire, though, that obviously it was not just like, oh, I hit a nail. No, this is like a big chunk of metal.
This is a terrible thing that looks like your tire is, you have to buy a new tire now.
Yeah. Yeah. The fix flat ain't going to fix that. And so then a dude grabs her and he has this creepy leather full head mask on and goggles. And she's, of course, getting dragged away screaming.
Yeah, I am disappointed that there was no move towards fixing a flat herself. Like, and granted that I know there's some cars where that's not an option. Like on my car, it's not an option. I have a run flat car. And so, and sometimes you are screwed. But at least she could have like been going for like a tire iron or something and not just been as helpless as like being on the side of the road just and trying to flag somebody down in the middle of the night. That seems unprepared-y. But anyhow, so she gets taken. She gets taken by a masked man. And we're going to go from there to the bunker.
Mm-hmm. Where Sam is tossing and turning in bed from 6 a.m. to 8:22. And he's obviously awake, but he's just staying in bed. And Dean knocks because he's making pancakes, but Dean doesn't answer him and stays in bed until 10 a.m. and is awoken by a phone call from Donna.
What a sloth. 10 a.m. Oh, my goodness. So
can't imagine sleeping that late.
I don't know. No, I can't either. But it sounds lovely. So Sam's phone rings, and it's Donna. And her niece has gone missing, and the local cops are not being helpful. And she knows it isn't their normal thing, but can they?
And Sam and Dean are, of course, going to be on the way, Dean says. So,
yeah. And Donna's truck is so cute.
Yeah, and they pull up to the impound lot where Donna's waiting for him. We get hugs, and she's apologizing for even calling them. But basically, she shares that her niece's car, whose name is Wendy, by the way, was found on the side of the road.
Jody just has her hands full with the girls too, so that gets noted in there. So I want to say it before that. Yes. And there is a great shot of them as they're talking through the impound door, like where they're framed in it. And I thought it was really good as they were having this conversation.
Agreed. But basically we find out Wendy was taking a gap year and she was inspired to take it by Donna taking one. And so she's blaming herself for all of this. But either way, Doug is there with her and helping. He's currently talking to the local cops inside. So Dean's going to go in while Sam stays talking to Donna for now. And he's inspecting the car with the spiky thing in the tire. And then this agent dude approaches and comes in real hot on Dean and calls him son. Woo!
Yeah. And so his name is Agent Clegg. And so Doug is like, oh shit, like this is like not really good. Doug jumps in the middle because Dean doesn't take well to being called son. And so Doug introduces him, and he introduces Dean as Agent Savage.
Yeah.
And Clegg is like, what field office are you out of? And Dean's like, oh shit. And then he like backtracks and he lies, and he says that the victim is family and that it's her cousin. And remember, this is Donna's niece. So Doug's just like, oh shit, you're related to Donna?
Yeah. And then it was kind of funny. Then he goes, oh, were you at the family reunion in Sioux Falls a few weeks ago? I heard it was a wild time. Dean definitely agrees. So that was Donna's excuse for going to help Jody.
For going to help Jody was that she was going to a family reunion, and Dean went there and said it was a wild time. Isn't that great? That's so fun. So Clegg is talking now to Donna, Doug, Sam, and Dean. With a map of where she found her, and is a road typically used by long haul truckers, and the troopers got an anonymous tip about where that was.
And that's not abnormal because that fits the pattern of a serial abductor that he has been tracking for 12 years. And he's got a whole murder board he's ready to show. Murder board, map, red yarn, the whole shebang.
The whole thing. So the agent calls him the butterfly. And also, I have been watching a lot of reruns of Criminal Minds lately. So I'm in like serial killer mode all the time right now. So it just makes sense for this episode to be about a serial abductor / killer. So the butterfly is what he has named him. And he targets those who won't be missed. And the victims just disappear. And they've never found a body.
That's concerning. So from there, we cut over to the motel, and Dean is very excited to set up his CB radio while Sam mocks him for it.
Yeah, and he is looking for the 411 on his Alice in Wonderland. And I'm just like, truckers are gross. And so the immediate response is just gross. Yeah. And Sam also, like, beyond mocking him, like, one of the reasons they think it's stupid is, like, the whole thing is stupid because maybe with the real feds there, they should back down because they just, like, got off the feds' radar. And maybe they don't want to get back on them.
Valid.
And it's with a valid point, right? And Dean's just like, no, you're moping. And I know that because you slept in and you turned down fucking pancakes.
I mean, yeah. And he calls out that Sam knows that Sam's upset between losing Jack and not knowing where mom is. You can't let it eat you up. The only way out is through. So we're going to do the work, and then we'll find Jack and we'll save mom. But right now, Donna needs our help. So all of a sudden, we hear a woman's voice on the CB and paging Midnight Rider, as Dean called himself. And Felix wants to meet at noon at a diner. And Dean's like, cool, I'm going to go do that tomorrow. And you hang back in case something else breaks. So, yeah. So we have Too Good to Be True by Lon Rogers and the Soul Blenders playing. And we see Wendy blindfolded and tied to a chair while our creepy leather masked butchery dude, I don't know, removes her blindfold. They end
up calling him the Carver in some reference thing, but I call him the butcher and the torturer a lot. So just I got to go back and forth on it because he's got a mask, he's got steampunk goggles and a butcher's apron on. Yeah, and he takes off his mask and she screams and he screams back, which I think is funny. And then
he's mocking her.
He's mocking her screaming, but it's just the way he did it. But so he makes fun of her being scared and crying, and then he sets a camera up and signs for her to smile, and instead she begs for help.
Yeah. Oh, so back wherever they're hanging out doing their research, is Agent Clegg is showing Donna.
It's the police station.
Are they in the police station?
They're at the police station, and that's like part of this is like so. I wonder about Clegg, and this is I mean, something to think about, like Clegg's credentials as like an FBI agent, like after you watch the whole episode, kind of think about them because they're in a police station. They're not in a federal office, but they're also in a small town. So it's a small town that doesn't have an office for them to meet at.
Probably.
Because when Sam comes in, he's late and he has a visitor's badge. So clearly he has given an ID to someone. And so he has gone through, like, so he's given what I'm assuming is his Fed credentials. But if it's a police station, then it makes sense because he could use his fake Fed badge and it would just be like, you go on through. If it was if this was an FBI office, we would be having a whole different conversation, right?
For sure.
So, yeah. So that's where they're at, is a police station. So that's Sam comes in. Clegg has been on Wendy's credit card trail.
Yeah. And he gives Sam his giant binder of 12 years of his potential victims. Binder. Yes. And he is like, this truck stop is where, Wendy was. And we have and I also have I do have a short list of potential suspects, but I've never been able to get concrete evidence to bring them in until now. And one of the suspects was also there. And we cut to see boots and shackles and a man holding the Bible. It's our pastor, Diamond Don Hankey.
It's Pastor Hankey. Okay, so why did you think that Pastor Hankey would be anything but disgusting? Because his name is Pastor Hankey.
It's a weird name for a pastor. No, you know, Diamond Don Hankey.
Diamond Don Hankey. So, yeah. So he's in the interrogation room. He has a jacket, and that includes lewd behavior and drunk and disorderly. Mm-hmm. And when they picked him up, he had Wendy's shirt with him, and it was bloody.
Yeah. And so from there, we cut back to this diner where Dean is meeting the woman that called back on the radio.
Felix.
Yes, and basically, she's the one that we saw. That's who the pastor was talking to.
We saw her earlier. She's got a cool mohawk. She seemed like a cool chick.
Yeah, and she's like, "Look, I saw Wendy twice that night. First, I saw her at the diner, and then she explains that she saw Wendy broken down on the side of the road and did not stop to help her.
She's the truck that drove past her."
And she regrets it, but she was late and and she should have stopped and she knows that place gives her the creeps. Talking about the diner. So, all right. So now we know who was driving the truck that kept going, and they've also placed Wendy at those two locations. So Sam is trying to talk to our pastor and asking about why he was at the diner and, has he seen Wendy and all this kind of stuff. And he's just really being not particularly responsive or reacting at all. And so Agent Clegg's like, well, what about this victim too? And our pastor says that the girl is vaguely familiar and then makes a barely veiled racist comment about the other person and then asks for a lawyer because he knows his rights.
Yeah, and Clegg doesn't care about his rights. And Donna comes in and asks to talk to him. Mm-hmm. And then we go from there back to Manny's truck stop, where Doug comes and meets Dean. He's got a report on incidents at Manny's. Nothing crazy, but many public urinations. And Doug has a question for Dean. And he wants to know, is Donna going to be okay? And she's barely talking to Doug. And they always talk about the Vikings, about Real Housewives, but he thinks that she's hiding something. And Dean tells Doug that he has to trust Donna.
Yeah. And be there for her and trust her. So, all right. So we've got Donna is now going to lead the interrogation of our pastor. And she opens with a Bible quote about lawyers. Because she's like, why are you asking for one? The Bible doesn't have very nice things to say about lawyers. But he's like, no, he still wants one. And so she's just going to continue. She's just going to bulldoze past that and start asking him questions. And she points out that being a Friday night in a small town, you might be lucky to get a public defender on Monday, and you're going to be here all weekend with a bunch of big dudes in that cell that are going to eat you up.
Do whatever they do to pastors in that cell. And so he's like, okay, maybe I can answer a few questions. And before we get to his questions, we go back to Manny's, where Doug and Dean have gotten out of the car. And the guy from earlier who asked if their windshield's washed comes over, and he's got his squeaker again. And he's just like, hey, do you want there? I'm like, no, like, but have you seen this girl? They pay him. And he tells them she was there a couple of nights ago, and he actually seems like kind of a nice guy. Like once he starts talking, and you're like, oh, okay, you're just really seriously need to clean someone's windshield for $1. Like, oh, cool. And so, and he tells him that Marlon, the cashier, liked her. And so now we're kind of like, oh yeah, I knew he was creepy. Yeah. And apparently Marlon closed up after she left and drove off after her.
And didn't come back till dawn. Ugh.
Yeah.
So Donna is continuing her interrogation, and she's asking the pastor how long he's been on the road. Guess is 12 years. And then asks if he's a family man. And apparently he's married and has 2 kids. And she's like, well, do they know about the girl you flashed outside of Cheyenne, or about the teen boy that you picked up hitchhiking? And he's like, makes his like, I'm weak in the center, but my wife knows, and we're working through it. And Donna's obviously icked out, but she's like, so she throws the bloody shirt at him and wants to know if his wife knows about this, her niece that was found in his van. And he looks confused and kind of upset.
But then, like, she goes all vengeance and yells at him, don't lie to me, don't lie to God. And she just makes him start crying. And he's just like, I am so afraid of Donna right now. And he's like, but I've never hurt anybody. And so then they go back behind the glass, and Sam and Donna both agree that the shirt doesn't make any sense. And they don't think that this preacher is the one who hurt Wendy. So maybe somebody planted it, but that's just weird. So somebody planted it at the truck stop? What? Okay.
Super weird. But yeah. So she broke the preacher. And so Dean and Doug go inside Manny's, and Marlon's starting like kind of dozing off at the counter with his Big Rig magazine, not nearly as entertaining this time. And Dean asks he holds up a photo of Wendy and says, where is she? And he makes some icky like yum noises, and then he doesn't know where she is. So Dean slams his head into the counter repeatedly. But
and when Doug objects, Dean says, this is how we do things in the FBI. And he's like, it is?
Yeah. And then finally Marlon's like, look, you won't believe me if I tell you. So Marlon goes and logs onto a computer with Dean and Doug watching. And we see a video stream we see Luis Fernando strapped to a bloody metal table, and a lot of personal details and stats listed about him. And they are auctioning off his left arm, currently at $230 with 21 seconds to go.
Yeah.
WTF.
And some of the bidders include K9-123, Yumbers 316, Two Fangs 2 Furious, Mikey Spider, Wolfman 99, Triple X, Babadood, Triple X, Jen Genie, Lone Wolf 638, Kitsune 1, Trolley, and Kneel Before Todd 2.
Of course. So it says it's like eBay, kinda, and the bidding ends at $365 for his left arm. And then our butcher guy approaches with a little motorized saw and starts cutting off Lewis's arm. And Doug looks away, Marlon smiles, and Dean just looks like serious face Dean. But after this, a little time passes, Donna and Sam arrive at Manny's, and Dean is explaining that the action ended 30 minutes ago, and he makes Marlon rewind. I'm just going to say there's no way you'd be allowed to rewind that, right? Like there wouldn't be a way to do that unless you were like doing like a screen capture. There have to be like a safeguard on something like that, right?
Yeah, he would have to have been recording the screen. He wouldn't just be able to. Well, I mean, unless just depending on how the streaming was set up. Because if it was a YouTube, today, you could do that with a YouTube stream. You could pause it and you could rewind it.
I just feel like they would have been slightly more secure than that. But
we'll get to
you. So either way, and Marlon Marlon rewinds it, and Sam, like, you can just turn this off. And of course, Marlon, like, makes fun of Sam for not wanting to watch somebody's arm get cut off. Like, anyways, Marlon's gross. So Doug hits him upside the head, and it's hilarious. And he explains that that's how the FBI does it.
So, yes, Doug is adorable. And so Sam sorts out that they are buying these parts for food and to take out for monsters. And what? Asked Doug.
Right?
He's saying monsters? Excuse me? And Donna's like, oh, you'll just talk about it later.
Yeah. And Marlon's like, I don't know where they are, you know. He just sees someone that wouldn't be missed, and he sends a message, and he gets paid. He doesn't feel good about it, but he's got bills to pay. What a dickwad. And now, all of a sudden, there is a new auction loading, and it is Wendy. And the opening bid for her left foot is $200 in 1 hour. Oh, no. Now they've got a timer.
Now they have a timer. They're the thing to go. And Dean wants to know if Sam could hack the server. And Sam says that the feed is on an encrypted Tor server. It's dark web stuff. Even if he could hack it, it would take days. Who could crack it in an hour? The FBI could. And I'm sorry to tell you, no, they couldn't. That's not how Tor works. It's not how the dark web works. It's not how things works at all. And we're going to talk about how things work, kind of. This is lore. So this episode has human body parts being auctioned off on the dark web for monsters' dietary needs. And while the trafficking for the purpose of organ removal is a growing form of trafficking, most dark web marketplaces mainly sell drugs and malware, not organs or people. Stories of people being trafficked over the dark web are usually much exaggerated or misreported, and would take the case of British glamour model Chloe Ayling. In 2017, it was normal for Phil Green, Chloe Ayling's agent, to be contacted about a photo shoot for his client. And when an Italian photographer named Andre Lazio emailed about asking to book a motorbike photo shoot with Chloe, there was nothing about the request that seemed out of the ordinary. Phil told the Mirror, I carried out due diligence, asked questions about the job, checked his website, asked where and when the shoot would take place, got the address of the studio, and checked examples of his previous work. All the boxes were ticked. I've been doing this job for 30 years, and I always carry out checks because there's no way you could predict something like this. His studio was called Balise Mafik. I even checked the address in Google Maps. Chloe was more than happy to take the job, and he paid 900 euros up front. So Chloe trots off to Paris, but as luck would have it for her, she arrived just as a terror attack occurred, and all hell was breaking loose. The photographer called to cancel the shoot, saying his studio had been ransacked in the chaos. For her trouble, the photographer even went by Chloe's hotel to give her 90 euros for the day. A couple of days later, an email with an apology came to Phil, and the photographer asked to book Chloe for Milan on July 11th, asking for her measurements so they could have leathers made. So once again, nothing seems out of sorts. This all seems legit. Chloe goes to Milan, stays a night in a hotel, and the next day goes to the studio. As she stepped into the space, her instinct that something was wrong was confirmed when a masked man grabbed her and covered her mouth with a gloved hand. He then pinned her around the neck. A second man rushed in, wrestled her to the ground, and injected her hand with a syringe of what was later said to be ketamine. Chloe awoke in total darkness with tape across her mouth, which she was able to peel off with her handcuffed hands. And she soon sussed out that she was inside a bag. And she found a way to get a little hole. There was like a hole in the zipper, so she found a way to get the zipper open, only to realize to her horror that she was in the trunk of a moving car. So she starts pounding on the car. The car comes to a stop. The attackers come back out. They retape her mouth when she was like, what's going on? Put her back in the trunk. Car starts going again, and then it stops a second time. And this time one of the men get out, and they get into the trunk with her, and they like spoon her. Ugh. I don't know why that grosses me out so much. Like, he doesn't even do anything sexual to her. As far as I know, he just spoons her. But I don't like it.
Mm-mm.
So the destination, it was like a 200-mile drive from Milan. So I don't know how long this poor girl had to be spooned. So at the farmhouse, one of her captors, Lukasz, it's Lucas, so it's Lukaszz, as he's Polish. Lukasz Herba told Chloe that she had been kidnapped by 2 foot soldiers from the Black Death, and that as the senior member of Black Death, he had come to rescue her because her kidnapping was a mistake. You see, the Black Death doesn't believe in kidnapping mothers, and she has a son. He also said he was risking his life to help her, and she shouldn't try to escape because there were Black Death agents everywhere watching her. So, to further restrain her, she was handcuffed to furniture at first, but by the second night, Herba offered Chloe his bed to sleep in, minus the handcuffs, and she said yes. Chloe said at this time her main goal was to get Herba to feel sorry for her, and his feelings became more and more obvious when he asked if they could become a couple, and Chloe dangled maybe when I'm released, which only further excited him. He told Chloe they had met before in that hotel in Paris, or he paid for that photo shoot, and she didn't recognize him then because he was wearing sunglasses. He asked Chloe who could pay a ransom for her, and she came up with some names, and he started emailing her agent Phil. Chloe's mom became worried when she didn't hear anything from her, and she frantically called Phil too. He reached out to the photographer, didn't get anything back, and then he received a ransom email which said, "We have Chloe, and we are the Black Death group. Unless you pay money to us by Sunday, she will be put to auction, where she may get sold to the Russian mafia." The email also contained the names of 3 wealthy businessmen whose names Phil thought Chloe had given them. Phil reached out to the authorities, and they took over emailing the kidnappers. The kidnappers sent a picture of Chloe passed out on the floor in only her pink bodysuit and clearly drugged out. The kidnappers demanded £270,000, but the police said they could only do £20,000. Back at the farmhouse, Herba told them about this offer was made and said that it wasn't enough money, but he would let her go if she promised that she would send 50,000 euros in Bitcoin and help publicize the Black Death as a leading terror organization when she was released. And she was like, "What? I don't understand, but okay, whatever, just let me go."
Yeah.
So he drives her to the consulate in Milan, but it was closed, so they went and got breakfast. And there was witnesses who saw them having breakfast together and said it looked kind of like a normal meal with laughter and things going on. But okay. So the consulate open. He walked Chloe in, telling Chloe to say that he was a friend that she had called to pick her up after escaping from her kidnappers. And the police are like, "Okay, well, what's his phone number?" And she's like, "Oh, crap." So she couldn't come up with it. So she ends up breaking down and she tells them the whole story, most of it. Right. She left out the part where she and Herba went shopping in the village for shoes, where they were seen holding hands.
Oh.
Yeah. So Herba was arrested. He was phoned his mother to try and get her to erase his emails and destroy his car. He gave her his password, which was twat1.
No.
It's just my favorite password ever. Twat. It's so bad. Okay, so he was not successful in hiding any evidence, obviously. The prosecution brought in more than 50 witnesses, including those who testified that before the kidnapping, they had seen Herba trying to science up some ricin and cyanide at home, all while performing searches on his computer for Chloe Ayling, Black Death, and sex trafficking. He also texted his brother, "Buy a big trip bag, very big. You know for what purpose it serves, so you know how big it should be." What? He's not very smart. So Chloe would be kept in Italy for another 3 weeks by the court. At Herba's pretrial hearing, Chloe would finally learn the truth, that he was not in the Black Death. He was the one who had planned everything, and the other accomplice was his brother.
Yeesh.
During his trial, Herva would try and explain that Chloe was in on it the whole time, that she was in financial straits and this was for publicity. But there was no evidence to support this. There was no Facebook messages, no emails or text messages between them. Herva would be described by prosecutors as a narcissist and a fantasist who was obsessed with Miss Ayling, and he would be sentenced to 16 years for kidnapping, extortion, and carrying false documents, which would be reduced on appeal. But his insinuation of Chloe being an accomplice would soon be echoed by the press. Why was Chloe seen holding hands with him in the village? Why would she go shopping with her captor? Why was she smiling for cameras instead of crying? She did a lot of interviews when she came back. And Chloe attributes some of this to her recent autism diagnosis and said that she would react in the wrong way. And she said, if I was told I was being off, I would smile and just had the wrong reactions to things. So she thinks she was just like not acting correct in front of the camera, and the tabloids were just using that as further fodder for like why she was wrong. So,
and Stockholm syndrome, maybe,
kind of, sort of, and a lot of naivety too. Like she thought this guy was that this was a terrorist group,
and that he was the one that was going to help her get away,
and that there was a ton of people that were out to kill her and her family, right?
Yeah.
So Chloe dumped her agent, Phil Green, once she got back to the UK. He said, I wish her all the best, but I hope this doesn't come back to bite her, he said to the Mirror. Chloe says that this was because he compromised her safety, not for ambition. Chloe would publish a book and then go on Celebrity Big Brother, lasting 13 days and being the second contestant voted out. Chloe's story would become a 6-part BBC series, Kidnap, the Chloe Ayling story, and the BBC documentary, Chloe Ayling, My Unbelievable Kidnapping. Herva would claim to have been in love with Chloe, and he did all this to boost her fame. His brother Michael would be arrested, convicted to 16 years and 8 months, which was actually longer than his brother's sentence, which is kind of fucked up. Wow. And that was later reduced to 5 years and 8 months. And one of the consequences of this kidnapping are a number of sites that indicate that Chloe was abducted by a gang called Black Death, and that they sell people, particularly women, on the dark web. CNN ran the headline, British model kidnapped for dark web auction, Italian police say. And Fox News had British model kidnapped in Italy to be auctioned off on pornographic website on the dark web. And these claims were untrue. The Sun reported that the Black Death group had advertised auction for girls in Europe. Vice has tried to interact with an online Black Death after finding a link on Reddit, only to be jerked around. And that site wanted money to be paid before letting a user participate in auction for advertised women for sale. In 2015, a group called Black Death showed up on both the dark web and the regular interwebs. Interpol investigated the group in 2015. Europol captured screenshots from the website called Black Death in 2016, where it listed services like blackmail, murder, guns, bombs, drugs, and trafficked women. They also posted jobs for positions like super hacker, and there is no evidence that any of these listings were real or just scams, right? So like with the Vice people, they're basically saying, they're like, you have to buy your way into this auction. So likely just being like, give us your money and then you're never going to get the link to the auction, right?
Wouldn't it be really embarrassing for someone who was a super hacker to get scammed by applying to the super hacker job?
I just would like to know what the super hacker job interview was. That would be really great.
It's just a scam and there wasn't even like really a job. I'm like, damn, the super hacker should have known.
Super hackers should have known. You would think they would. So BuzzFeed quoted Will Kerr, director of vulnerabilities at the National Crime Agency. From an economic standpoint, the sex trafficking business model simply does not make sense on the dark web. Traffickers are motivated by money and therefore want to reach the largest audience possible in order to maximize revenue. There is simply not enough of the general population on the dark web to make the dark web advertising for this purpose. In addition, sex trafficking usually masquerades as at-will prostitution, making it easy for this content to live largely on the public web. Child porn content, on the other hand, is exchanged in much more closed circles, making a better candidate for dispersal on the dark web. So, and from what I understand of just what's happening now, most of the trafficking is happening over social media. It's happening over regular websites and over things, encrypted messaging apps like Telegram, where that's been going on for years. And it's just like that guy said, it doesn't make economic sense to traffic people on the dark web. So when you see the sites being like, oh, there's a woman being auctioned off in the dark web, it's probably not true. I'm not saying that sex trafficking isn't true and obvious an issue and that it doesn't happen over the internet. I'm also not saying that the dark web is not used for, there's also used for a lot of things, including a lot of sexual exploitation material. Right. So a lot of the content producing of, basically OnlyFans people being forced to do things like those content subscription models is really prevalent. And people are using cryptocurrencies and other things in order to buy those and keep themselves anonymous. So it's definitely a problem. However, and not only that, of course, monsters are not online buying food, but just the TV trope of the dark web, like they're auctioning off, selling off people is not something that has ever been proven to have happened. I'm saying it's never happened.
At least at a prevalent level, yeah.
There's no evidence of it ever happening. So.
That makes sense, though, what you're saying.
And
if outline it, if you think about it that way.
Yeah. It's just, and it's not that hard it's like the dark web is not a mystical fairyland. It's really easy to see what's on there. And almost all of the marketplaces, like I almost did the story on a couple of different marketplaces, but you can find out what's on the dark web on the clear web. You can just Google search and just do tour markets, and it'll give you a breakdown of like what the top markets are and what they're selling on them. And you can just go look at that. And most of it is just going to be drugs and crimeware and shit like that. So
I recently saw an old episode of Portlandia, and they used the dark web, and it was pretty
dark web. I also just love the Stuart and the dark web on Stuart.
Oh yes,
Letterkenny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dark web.
So, anyways,
I feel slightly relieved and still grossed out.
Yeah, and this is, just my 2 cents on, on I don't think that Chloe Ayling was faking anything. I think I think she was kidnapped by a obsessed fan. The obsessed fan used the Black Death as a way to terrorize her and her friends and to try and cover up their kidnapping.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately she got caught in the wrong. She got caught in a kidnapping. It'd be
a much more fascinating story if she was in on it, though.
That's
as awful as that is, but.
It's awful. The thing is, it sucks for him to be like, oh no, to try to turn this, to turn it on her, fuck you, man, this is your fan obsession, not mine,
Mm-hmm.
And and all of she's a glamour model, so I find that fascinating. That's a term that's used in Britain more than it is over here, and I think it means some different things there than it means over here. But so her reputation though went up and down a lot because of this. So even wouldn't make sense to be a publicity stunt, right? It was something that could easily have backfired on her.
For sure.
But she had a lot of missteps in her conversations because she didn't tell the police about the holding of the hands, and some parts of her story they kind of she left some stuff out, and there was also her being seen in public with him, right. But she was just saying she thought this guy was saving her, and she was trying to be as nice to him as possible because that was how she thought she was going to get out. And so I watched the BBC, the mockumentary, so I didn't watch the documentary. I watched the dramatic one, and it was 6 episodes. It was 6 episodes, man. So that was a lot of Chloe. But and she was an EP on that. So I feel like it was kind of close to it. And I didn't read her book. I read excerpts from her book though. So I feel like the dramatization was close on it. But yeah, I do think that he was, I think he was obsessed with her. And
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. and was not the best criminal in the world. But sometimes you don't have to be the best criminal, just come up with a pretty good story. And like, you can, he kept them going for a little bit. I mean, he had her for 6 days.
That's
a long time.
That is.
So I still, no matter, so I think it was a traumatic experience for her. So I don't, even though like, if you're going, man, this doesn't sound really glib, but like if you're going to be kidnapped, maybe in like it was a really pretty village in Italy. I don't know.
Could be worse.
I'm glad she's safe, and it's. And so just don't believe that you can buy people. You try don't buy people off the dark web.
How about don't buy people?
Don't buy people, I think, is a general good thing. But you can't buy them on the internet. You can buy them on the internet, but you don't have to go to the dark web for them. You just go to Instagram. Which is even sadder.
But don't do that either.
Don't do that either. So unless, sex workers, all right. So we're going to go back to our episode, and where Donna is giving Doug the lowdown.
Yeah, he gets the
including
talk.
some hard truths.
Yeah. And so she explains that, Sam and Dean are hunters, and they are not related.
They are not cousins.
They kill monsters, and she says, and so do I sometimes.
Sometimes.
And Doug's kind of just looking shut down about the whole thing. He does not appear to be taking this real well. And so Dean interrupts them because Clegg has already cracked the video feed, and they have 42 minutes to get to this location.
Okay, and so when I said earlier about FBI is not being able to crack video, being able to crack encrypted Tor signals, they can't do that, which probably should have been a hint. The way that they could do it is if they have taken over. If they had already previously taken over the server, right? They'd already taken this over in the past. Then they would be able to crack. But you can't you can't do that with Tor. It's a fucking purpose of Tor. So anyways, that's how you know Clegg is guilty. So he's got a 20 on the video feed. And so anyways, it should have been a sign.
So they drive to this abandoned building, and they have brought Marlon with them. So Doug's gonna stay with a handcuffed Marlon while Donna's telling Doug, like, look, we're gonna figure this all out. And Dean gives Doug a gun to stay with Marlon with. So Sam's going in the back door. Donna and Dean are going through the rest of the building, and Clegg shows up, and Sam's surprised to see him. Didn't think he was going to be there, but he has to see this through or whatever. While this is all happening, Marlon starts talking shit to Doug.
There's a lot of here. So it's like, you sent me a video where people are being sold and you don't expect me to show up. And I'm like, that is true. I was like, you know what? Fair. If someone sent me, I'm like, I'm going to show up to that. Like, that's...
Well, yeah. And so Marlon starts just talking shit to Doug and like talking about how Don is out of his league. We get a cut from that to our butcher dude, and we have Big Flame by Doris Wilson playing. So he likes this music. And he is sharpening a knife while Wendy screams.
And she is in now a very bloody, dirty dress.
Yeah, they just put like a bloody sack.
Y'all
it's really
need
awful.
Some laundry mats. What the fuck? Just wash your shit.
We talked about this. They need some Clorox in this motherfucker.
Oh, I mean, just literally some soap and water. Just wash it. Just wash it. So, Dean and Don follow the sounds, and it leads them to a room with the radio. In
retrospect, you notice they can hear the music, but they don't hear screams.
They don't hear the screams. They just hear the music. So they follow the sounds, and they get to a room, and there's a radio.
And the lights are real flickery, but yes. And so they have been tricked. Back in the holding area, Marlon tells Doug, by the way, I'm a monster! And he's a vampire.
Yep. He unfortunately turns into a vampire, breaks his handcuffs, and goes after Doug.
Yeah. And Doug loses his gun right away. And then Marlon feeds his blood to Doug. Oh, no. And while that's happening, Clegg knocks out Sam. What the fuck is happening? So Donna and Dean find Doug. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of alliteration. Find Doug. and he has fangs, and he does not think he's okay. So, because he is hungry, so he attacks Donna, and Dean is smartly, but conveniently carrying some dead man's blood that he is immediately able to shoot Doug up with, and knocks him out. And he's not concerned because there is a cure since Doug hasn't fed yet. So he's just going to fix it up.
Yep. And Marlon has reappeared, tells Dean that he's been got by Clegg and that he has Sam. And wouldn't you like to know where Sam is? And Dean pulls out his machete, says, "Bring it, Twilight." But Donna shoots Marlon in the knee first. And she tells Dean to get his blood and mix up the cure, because she's not having any more of this shit. And she just asks Marlon where Clegg is. Marlon says she's just going to kill him. And she said she's killing him either way. He just needs to decide if he wants it fast or if he wants it slow.
Donna's got some good bad bitch energy in this episode.
She does.
So we cut to where Clegg is they're in a different room. It's like a weird tiled room, but he's telling his butcher dude how to frame the shot because Sam's a big man, and Sam is tied to the table, and Clegg explains that he knows who Sam and Dean are. He recognized Baby right away.
Guys,
that car has gotten him into trouble before.
You know, I mean, it's just what you gonna do. Like, you're the Winchesters. You've got maybe you need to start rethinking this. I don't know, or just accept.
Can you not drive a Honda Civic or something? Like, not to knock a Civic. There's just a lot of them on the road. Or Toyota Camry. I don't know, something a little bit less obvious. Anyways, so yeah, and Sam wants to know why. And Clegg does his talk. He also kind of knows that Sam's probably trying to buy time, but he's like, look, there are millions of monsters out there, and the ones
he doesn't say it millions that way. He does it in a stupid way, because when Sam asks how many monsters are out there, Sam says thousands, and he says to add 2 zeros, and I'm like, stupid supernatural math. How many is that? Like, is that hundreds of thousands? Is that a millions? I don't know.
That's
a lot of monsters.
But basically, the ones that Sam and Dean get are ones that can't pass because they're too mean or stupid or both. And he's like, a lot of monsters out there could be your neighbor, and they need to eat. So I sell them, people that they won't miss. And so essentially, I'm saving lives. So you should be thanking me. That's his justification.
Yeah, and then he puts on a pig mask. And it's worse. It's awful. And it's gross, ugly, dirty pig mask.
Really icky. I don't like it at all.
And so he does that because he's introducing that Sam is for sale. And they cut away to all kinds of monsters watching and getting so excited about this auction.
It's a good little montage of all the monsters watching.
It is. I highly enjoyed it. And then we go from there to Baby,
where Donna's in the backseat feeding Doug the cure out of a bowl while Dean drives. And Dean lets her know that the cure worked on him. I don't know if she knew that. I don't think I knew.
Well, she does now. Mm-hmm. Well, in the meantime, Sam's liver just sold for $5,000. And I mean, I don't know if I would pay $5,000 for a Winchester liver. I mean, and that's
definitely not Dean's.
Definitely not Dean's, but Sam's is pretty fucked up too. Like, I don't know if I want his liver. In fact, I'm not sure I want any body parts off of Winchester. I mean, the Winchesters they're pretty beaten up and broken. So, but now they're going to go up to his heart. Maybe Sam's heart seems like he's a runner.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there any after effects from all that demon blood? I don't know.
I don't know what demon blood does to your heart afterwards. Does it clog your arteries, or does it fill them out more? I don't know.
Well, Dean and Donna are going to leave Doug in the back seat, which is weird. And while they go inside this building, and of course the hall lights are flickering again. This not great power in these buildings. And Donna finds Wendy pretty fast. But our butcher dude also is there, and he attacks her, but she hits him in the fucking head with this crowbar and then stabs him real quick. Yep. She takes Butcher out.
No, we're not dealing with this. No, we're done. Mm-mm. And so the auction for Sam's heart is going. And at first it's $50K, and then it's $100K, and then it's $500,000. So $500,000 is what Sam Winchester's the heart goes for.
Yeah. And then Clegg's like, usually we do this part slowly, but Dean's out there. So, and he points a pistol at Sam's head. And he's about to shoot him. And we pan over to the camera and we hear a gunshot. And we see a blood seeping through a white shirt, which Sam was wearing and Clegg was wearing. But Dean shot Clegg from behind. Sam didn't get shot. And Dean says, show's over.
Yeah. And we go there from there back to the cool motel.
Yeah.
And Donna is watching Doug wake up, but they've left handcuffs on him.
Just in case.
Just in case. And he wakes up and he doesn't want to bite anybody, so Donna uncuffs him. Mm-hmm. And she tells Doug that he's going to be fine. And he's like, I was a vampire. I'm not fine. Not going to be fine.
Yeah, and Donna's like, yeah, for a couple hours. And Dean's like, yeah, it's nice to, now that it's nice to have another good guy on our side. And Doug's just like, no. I can't live this life. I just want to go home. I became a cop to help people, but vampires, this isn't my bag. And Donna's like, fine, no, we'll go home. I'm sorry for lying, but it's fine. I can't give this up though. And Doug's just like, no. You kill monsters. You're a hero. That's not me. I'm sorry. I love you, but I'm sorry. Damn it, Doug.
Doug, you can't take a strong woman.
And Donna's
I know
crying,
it's the monsters, but I feel like it's a strong woman thing. And so Sam
I think it's the monsters. I blame the monsters.
I know, but you know who I was like, it's not personal. So Sam tells her that when you choose this life, anyone you love will get hurt or worse. So just let him go because it's safer this way. Damn, Sam.
Yeah, not the right message at that moment, probably. Just saying. Probably not the right message at that moment. And Donna's just crying. This is awful. The scene is very upsetting.
I'm just like, oh, it's fine. Like, you just don't worry about it. Anyone you love is just going to die. So it's better off that you're alone.
So awful.
We come from that to Baby, where Dean is just like, Sam, fuck, you're so harsh.
Which it was harsh when Dean's calling out Sam for being harsh, right?
Yeah.
That's how you know. Anyways, and Sam's like, was I wrong? Is it better? Like, when has it ever worked out? And Dean's like, no, we save people. And he's like, Sam's just on the kick of, we get people killed. Look at Kaya. And he's like, I'm not in a dark place.
Still not wrong.
I mean, he's not wrong. But he's like, he insists that he's not in a dark place. He's just telling the truth. It's like with our lives, we try to do things right. We try to pretend that we can have Mom back and Castiel back and help Jack, but we can't. It always ends the same way. Ends bloody, ends bad. Oh, Sam.
So yeah, he's so mopey.
Little mopey right now. Ugh.
So poor mopey Sam. Before we talk about our feelings about this episode, are there monsters and truckers?
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Yeah, so first we've got Agent Clegg, played by Chris William Martin. He was in a bunch of episodes of Felicity. He was in True Calling, Veronica Mars, CSI Miami, Bones, Mentalist, Supergirl, Tracker, and Murder in a Small Town. He was Dylan in the TV series, the early 90s TV series 15. Damon in the film Chaos Theory, a deputy in Aliens vs. Predator, and it was only a few episodes, but he was Zach Salvatore in Vampire Diaries. Marlon was played by Stephen Yaffe. He's been in episodes of Warehouse 13, The Mist, Titans, The Boys, and The Vampire Lestat. He was also a recurring character named Baxter in Ghosts. Our pastor, Don Hankey, was played by Diamond Don Hankey, was played by Troy Skog. He's been in episodes of The Commish, Van Helsing, and Riverdale. Wendy Hanscom, who also plays another role in Supernatural, but Chloe, but she was played by Sarah Dugdale. Episodes of Arrow and Allegiance, you may have seen her in. She played Chloe in The Bad Seed, the 2018 version of that film. She's Lizzie in Virgin River as a reoccurring character for 60 episodes of that. And she's done some holiday and Hallmark type movies as well.
She looks like a Hallmark girl.
She does. Our diner customer, aka Felix, was played by Camille Atib, and she's been in episodes of Hellcats, Frequency, Ghost Wars, Snowpiercer, Fall of the House of Usher, and The Good Doctor. She plays a butch cop in the movie Good Luck Chuck. She plays an NYPD officer in The Day the Earth Stood Still, and a nurse in the film If I Stay. Our weird window washer dude is also a stunt performer. He's played by Jason Weissvilla. And he's been in episodes of Fringe, 100, Magicians, Deadly Class, Yellow Jackets, The Last of Us, and is the Viking in Night at the Museum. And then Luis Fernando, we see very briefly, was played by Emilio Merritt. He's been in episodes of Motive and Arrow, and was Enrique in the movie Always Be My Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. And some other minutia about them. So just on things that were happening in the web while they were on the auction thing. So the user Mikey Spider recounts that in 2009 in Birmingham, he and a vampire named Carver bled a fraternity dry, a reference to former writer, executive producer Jeremy Carver. Users Kitsune1 and Yummers316 are shown getting in an argument about Kitsune1, a Kitsune being nasty for getting their food from a morgue. Carcosa69 also questions Yummers316 if ghouls are nasty as well for eating the dead. Users Two Fangs Too Furious has a thing for feet and not for dietary reasons.
Eek.
I just thought those things were fun. So.
It is.
So, and it was those type of things that made what would be, I mean, it's still, I was, it's a action one. It's not a heist movie. It's like a techno thriller, I guess would be the term for it. So this is like a techno thriller because we've got, they're racing against the clock to get against the thing that's happening on the dark web, so.
And it's the serial abduction. So you've got like your crime thriller, like you were talking about. You've been watching a lot of like Criminal Minds and stuff. So it's very much like a crime procedural drama in a lot of ways with some, with the dark web component. Yeah. And then throw some monsters in because it's supernatural. We have to.
It's supernatural.
But yeah, I thought it was, for being dark, it was an enjoyable episode.
Well, I think they threw enough I don't say they're not Easter eggs. It was just, it was just enough content like in the background that made it kind of enjoyable. Also, I think Donna and Doug themselves are just such a delightful couple. And I'm very sad that Donna and Doug are no longer together.
But we got Donna 2 episodes in a row.
We got Donna 2 episodes in a row, and we got Donna like really kicking ass. We got the funny back reference to the Wayward Sisters, with it being that I was at a Sioux Falls family reunion. Yep. Which is just hilarious. So I think they did there was enough cut in it to make it, which is like just that nice kind of balance. We've got some scary things, some really scary things. We basically have. The monsters are first off human. They're not the real monster of the episode is a human. It's Glenn.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those rare episodes of Supernatural where it's not a monster.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
No. Agreed. And Sam is just, I don't know. So we're, so as far as storyline progress goes in season 13, we're still away from, Jack is still off with Mary somewhere.
Yeah.
Cass is off somewhere. He's off looking for things.
Isn't he didn't Asmodeus kidnap him and Lucifer together?
Yeah.
I think they're with Asmodeus.
Where in the world is Cassiel?
They think he's on a mission trying to find Jack, but he got kidnapped by Asmodeus.
Oh, that's right. So we still have that going on in the background.
Yeah. We haven't seen him in several episodes now. And then, so it's kind of we haven't seen Jack in a couple episodes, but he's in the apocalypse world with Mary.
Yeah.
So, a lot to tie up. I think that this really didn't, this episode didn't really drive any of that forward, but it was definitely showing Sam's emotional battle with it all.
Yeah, and so that we've swapped place on the emotional Winchester train, and now it's Sam's turn to make me want to scream.
Yeah, it's fun.
Pull your head out of your ass, Winchester. I don't know, and we all, I mean, but also feel your feelings, Sam. You know, you're allowed to grieve all these people that die. Like Kaya dying is like a big thing, and you should be processing these feelings and maybe not just running straight on into the next thing. And maybe maybe he's not wrong. Maybe it's time for them to get their feels out. I don't know. All right, on the get your feels out. I think I want to do it. All right, cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.